Hey everyone, happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving this next week. Today I have 4 Thanksgiving sides that I am sure you are going to absolutely love. These are delicious. Hopefully they're new recipes that you have never tried before. Go ahead and grab your apron and let's get started. The first thing that we're going to be making is hash brown casserole. So to my pot, I'm going to need 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm going to use up 1 yellow onion that I had diced up finely, and I'm just going to saute this until it is nice and golden brown, and then I'm going to add in some minced garlic. I have about 3 cloves of large minced garlic that I'm just going to add to the pan, and I'm going to let that saute for just another minute or 2. And then to my saucepan, I'm going to go ahead and put in 1/4 cup of flour and just get that well mixed through so that no more clumps are in the onions and the garlic. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 cup of chicken stock or chicken broth, whichever you want to add in. And then now I'm going to add in 2 cups of whole milk and give that a really good stir. I really want to make sure that this is stirred through properly and that there's no more flour, no more clumps or anything like that. I'm going to let this sit on the pan for maybe about 5 to 10 minutes. I just want to get it nice and thick. And then once it's nice and thick, I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 cup of sour cream and stir that through as well until that's nice and stirred through. And then also I'm going to add in my cheese. You can stir in your sour cream and then your cheese, or you can add both and then stir that in. This is 8 ounces of shredded cheddar cheese that I use. I'm just going to add in some pepper and some salt just to give it a little bit more flavor. Once that's mixed through, I do go ahead and add in 2 tablespoons of parsley. I kind of went a little overboard on the parsley. I think it just adds so much flavor to it. I usually go over, not under, when it comes to my seasonings. And then I had 30 ounces of frozen hash browns here that I did thaw out. You do want to make sure that they are nice and thawed before you add them to the pan here. You could just stick them in the microwave if you kind of just got them out. That's kind of what I did, just kind of last minute there, just to de-thaw it fast. Anyways, and now we're going to take a 9x13 pan, and I did go ahead and spray it, and I'm just going to add in my hash brown mixture here and just try to get all of it out. And then I'm going to put probably another 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese on top just to make sure that this dish is extra cheesy, because that means that's going to be extra delicious. And then I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 degrees, and I'm going to put it in there until all the cheese is nice and melted. So I put it in there for about 35 minutes or so. I just want to make sure the cheese is melted and that the hash browns are nice and cooked through. And here is what it looks like when it's all done. It was very cheesy. It was super creamy. It was very, very delicious. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be making is called Ultimate Cornbread Casserole. And this is very, very good. I loved how it turned out. To my medium bowl, I'm going to need 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and then 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar as well. Now, I would definitely suggest adding a lot more sugar, maybe like 1/2 cup, because it wasn't very sweet at all. I did give that a good stir, and then I'm just adding in my corn, my sour cream, and my milk, and giving that a good stir as well. If you're wanting the full recipe, it will be linked in my description box. I'm going to go ahead and give that a good stir and make sure all of that cornmeal is mixed together properly. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in my melted butter here. I have 6 tablespoons of melted butter. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in some pepper and give that another good stir here. Just make sure that that butter is nice and mixed through. Once it's mixed through, I'm going to go ahead and add in, I think I added in about 3 to 4 jalapenos. You can add in however many jalapenos you want, however spicy that you want. These were fresh out of my garden. I think I probably could have added 2 more jalapenos because they were not spicy enough, according to my husband. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 cup of cheddar cheese, give it another good stir. And then I also put in some bacon, which is completely optional. If you don't want to add bacon, you definitely don't have to. Or if you want to add in the bacon bits that are already pre-packaged, you could add that as well. I added in about half a cup of bacon right there. And then to my lightly greased 9x13 dish, I just put it in this casserole dish. And you can put some more jalapenos, some more bacon, and then some cheese. I put about another half a cup of cheese on top of that just to make sure that it's extra cheesy. And then I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 for about 45 minutes or so. Just to want to make sure that that middle is nice and cooked through, and everything is the cheese is all melted, everything looks good, and this is what it looks like after it is all done. It is so delicious, and like I said, it's not really a sweet cornbread, so if you want it more sweet, you definitely want to add more sugar to it. That would make it just a million times better. I don't know, I prefer my cornbread pretty sweet, so but other than that, I love the bacon and I love the jalapenos in it. It gave it such a wonderful flavor to it. Next, I'm going to be making some homemade baked beans, and I do put these in the Instant Pot. These would work perfectly well in the slow cooker if you want to do it in that as well. But here I'm just showing you how I did it in the Instant Pot. I did 2 cups of these navy beans. You just want some really small beans, nothing big. And then I put in 4 cups of water in it, and I'm just going to season it up. So I have a little bit of this Creole seasoning. I'm pretty sure I put that on everything. And then I put in about half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, just to give it a lot more flavor. Beans, you just want to add a little bit of salt to it just to give it just a little bit of a flavor. And then I'm going to put this, put the lid on. I'm going to put this on the Instant Pot, on the high pressure for about 45 minutes. Really want to make sure those beans are nice and cooked through. There's nothing worse than taking a bite into something that's hard. Beans that are hard are just disgusting and repulsive. So please just make sure that you cook them all the way through. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in 3/4 cup of ketchup, 3/4 cup of molasses. It's supposed to be 3/4 cup, but I kind of just used the rest that I had. So it wasn't even half a cup worth, but it still turned out really good, and it had a really good molasses flavor to it. So, but I definitely suggest adding the 3/4 cup that it calls for. And then I also added in 1/3 cup of brown sugar. If you like your baked beans extra sweet, then you can always add in more. I did put in just a little bit of the dry mustard. So I put in about a tablespoon of that. Then I ended up putting in just a little bit more pepper and a little bit more salt. So altogether it came to about maybe 3/4 teaspoon each of salt and pepper. And I did just give this another good stir. And I did want to let you know that when the beans were done cooking with the water, I did drain some of the water out. And then I did leave some of the water to stay in with the beans. And then this is optional, but you can add in some bacon. I added in about half a cup of bacon to this. And this is how it turned out. It was so delicious. I've never made homemade beans before, but these turned out great. Okay, guys, you have got to stop making the traditional green bean casserole. This is the only casserole that you're going to need. This one is so, so delicious. You're going to need 3 cups of milk. You're going to heat that up on the pan until it's almost boiling. And then you're going to need 2 packets of that Lipton onion soup mix, or you can use that off-brand. I use an Aldi's brand. And then once it comes up to a boil and it's starting to boil pretty well, then I did add in 1 package of cream cheese, and as you can see, it kind of made the boiling stop, and because it's about to go overboard, so I was glad that I added it in when I did. And you're just going to whisk this until all the cream cheese is completely mixed through. You're going to add in 3 to 4 cans of green beans. I use these French style green beans here. You can use whatever type that you want. For green bean casserole, I usually and typically just use French style green beans. And then I'm just going to give this a good stir and let it thicken up just a little bit in the saucepan. And then I'm going to add in my bacon. So I have about half a cup of bacon here. that I'm going to use. And then I put in 1 cup of French's fried onions. It's just going to give it such a good flavor and a really good crunch. The bacon's going to give it a good crunch there. And then once I'm done with that, I'd take it off the heat, and then I'm going to get started on my Ritz cracker topping. So I'm going to need about 15 to 17 Ritz crackers. I think I counted out 16 here. And I'm just going to put them in my Ziploc baggie, and I'm going to pound them out until they're nice and crumbly. If you don't want to use a baggie, that's totally fine. You could, I even thought about just like crushing them up into a little bowl. That way I'm not wasting a Ziploc baggie, but it's whatever you want to do. And then once they are nice and crushed, I go ahead and put it into a small little bowl here. And then I'm going to put in 1/4 cup of melted butter, and then a cup of those French's fried onions. That's kind of hard to say, I guess. And then I'm going to just mix that together to get that butter well combined and with the onions and the crackers there. And then to my 9x13 dish, I did lightly spray it just a little bit, and then I'm just gonna put in my my mixture there, my green bean mixture, and I'm just gonna put that Ritz cracker topping on top of that. And then it's completely optional, but if you want to put some more bacon on top of that, I think I had like maybe 2 tablespoons worth that I wanted to put on top. And that is it. I'm going to bake this in the oven at 375, and I'm going to bake this for about 14 to 16 minutes, just until everything's cooked through, everything is warm and cooked through. My husband said that this was the best green bean casserole that he's ever had. His mom makes green bean casserole all the time, and he was so excited about this one. This one was so creamy. It was cheesy from the cream cheese in it, and it was just really, really good. And it doesn't have any cream of mushroom soup in it, and it was just phenomenal. This was the best. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found some new recipes for you and your family, and hit that subscribe button on your way out if you haven't already. Bye for now.